Hello and welcome to the East Lampeter Township Public Meeting. All participants are now informed that this meeting is being recorded. This meeting is also being offered virtually utilizing Zoom, which is a cloud-based platform for remote video and audio conferencing. The Zoom application is free to the public. The general public is therefore able to join the meeting by connection through the internet or by calling in by phone. The public is also able to observe the meeting on the township's YouTube channel. Please continue to check the Township website calendar for any updates related to these public meetings. Agendas for these public meetings will also be available on the Township's website. Please be reminded that this meeting is being video and audio recorded and will be posted to the Township's YouTube channel for viewing. The meeting will now proceed with the chairman calling the meeting to order and identifying all other members present in the meeting room and those joining the meeting via Zoom. The chairman will then confirm those members joining by Zoom can be heard.
Okay, welcome to the October meeting of the East Lampeter Sewer Authority. And we will present here as members Todd Stump, myself, Rick Robinson, Fred Clark. Representing the township is Ralph Hutchinson, Charlie Thomas. Oh, Brent's on Zoom. Sorry, Brent.
Yes, can you hear me okay?
Yep. Tara Hitchens from the township, Matt Seachy from HRG, and Scott, the financial man. I invite you to join us in the pledge of the American flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And we've had the minutes for a week or so now, and so if there's no additions or corrections, it will stand approved as written. First on the agenda would be the treasurer's report. Sanitary sewer.
Rick, for the sanitary sewer, we have a checking account balance as of the end of September of $2,761.06.
Do you have any bill?
I do have some bills that need paid. The grand total of $6,025.07. We're gonna do them all together.
Yeah. Requisitions.
There are two requisitions. First is requisition number 03-603, payable to Herbert Mullen Grubik for the Stauffer Run Pump Station upgrades for the construction administration and the State Route 30 sewer relocation design. Total amount there is $8,507.70. Next is requisition number 03-604. This is payable to Desco Design and Construction Incorporated for the Stauffer Run Pump Station improvements, contract 21-1, general construction application for payment number 1 in the amount of $187,718.49.
Under stormwater, checking account balance.
Here, where I normally read the number from the Pliget class account. It seems to be there's- Shows the prime account almost 2.5 million, but there's usually a number above that. So our checking account balance would be $2,418,971.32. That's down. That's the number. It's a lot of money. So that's the checking account balance, Rick. I have bills that Bills that to be paid out of the stormwater fund in the amount of $17,785.54.
Okay. Looking for a motion to
I'll
pay
make a motion, we pay the bills and the requisitions.
both the sanitary sewer and stormwater, correct? We have a
I'll
second?
second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Fred, I never did confirm. Brent, you can hear us okay, right?
Yeah, I can. Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay?
We got you.
All right.
Okay, under old business sanitary sewer, Stauffer Run upgrade.
Work continues on the pump station improvement project. The general contractor has completed the wet well slide gate repair installation and concrete repairs, as well as the combination air valve manhole vent piping and the repairs to the piping interior to those manholes. The electrical contractor continues to work on the conduit installation. At our recent job conference, the contractors noted that they're basically working themselves out of work here until the MCCs arrive in May. So they believe that within the next month or so, they're gonna pull off site here for until the MCC equipment arrives in about May of next year. So anticipate you may have an application for payment or so next month or the next 2 months, but that project's gonna go on hold until that equipment arrives. And as part of the requisitions there, we did have our first application for payment for Desco, which you approved.
Yep. Anything else under the Stauffer Run? Is that it?
Say the manholes have been done with the wrap.
Correct. Yep. Yeah. So the interior of those have been wrapped. There was question on wrapping everything. They're going back to repair that work there. So we've been working with the contractor on it. I think overall, I think Larry has mentioned that work's been progressing very well and is very happy with the contractor's work on site.
Okay. Cedar Acres.
I'm just going to keep it on the list for now. We still have not heard a start date for the disconnection of the rain leaders going into the sewer line. Waiting to hear back from the city when that's supposed to start.
Heard nothing again.
Nothing. We have a meeting Tuesday, partners meeting. It's going to be brought up there.
And it's how long now? How many meetings in a row?
December is when we found it. So they told us, I'm going to guess 4 meetings now that they were going to get started. From the last report, I think I remember they were supposed to do something in August.
August of 23 or what?
Probably.
I tell you what, that city sure does cause us enough headaches, don't they?
Yeah, we got enough to do.
When's the next election?
Are you registered to vote in the city?
Any other old business under sanitary sewer? I take that as a no. Old business under stormwater, 160 Greenfield Road, Amtrak. Storm sewer project.
The contractor is pretty much complete with the punch list. I got to check on one more thing that they were to complete with flushing the storm sewer line where a bunch of stones made it in there. But if you want to talk about the agreement.
As I think we've talked about in prior meetings, the owners at 160 Greenfield Road have not been satisfied with the compensation provided to them for the easements. As you remember, we did an appraisal of the property and the appraisal of the easements that were involved with temporary and the permanent easements for the pipes. And they had requested additional work to the parking area to address their overall compensation concerns. So an agreement's been drafted by your solicitor that would have it essentially a settlement agreement between the property owner and the authority to provide them both with the compensation offered for the easements, which was $8,600. And that the township's contractor would seal the entire area of the parking lot, including, I guess you'd say, the area that was disturbed as well as the area that was not disturbed for the project. And then repainting all the lines, again, both in the area that was disturbed as well as the undisturbed area. That would be complete and full settlement of any dispute between the authority and the property owner related
That's
to
the
this project.
8,600.
The 8,600 for the easements plus whatever our costs would be. And I think we had contractors' costs, which was in that same ballpark of $8,600 roughly to seal and paint the lines of the parking lot. There'd be no additional reimbursement for their legal fees or any other costs associated with the project. And this would serve to resolve the issue. As painful as that might be, I would recommend that the authority approve of the agreement, approve of the additional work for our contractor to perform as a change order to our current contract. And I believe the $8,600 payment was in your bills, which you've already approved.
Okay, we're
Okay.
looking for a motion to pay
I'll
the,
make a motion that we agree to the eminent domain settlement agreement between East St. Peter Sewer Authority and 160 Greenfield LP as dated, what, today?
once it's approved, October 10th, 12th, 2020.
By the way, we've been told that they're agreeable to this arrangement. Yeah, they
They
haven't actually signed it yet, but we've been told by their counsel that they're agreeable to this resolution.
Yeah, let's get it over with and put it behind us.
Yep. We got a motion. Do we have a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody taking minutes? I just thought about it.
Oh, yeah.
I wrote,
Where is he?
I wrote it down too. We're gonna have to go back and we'll watch the video and
Oh, there you go.
I've been trying to write as fast as you talk.
It's all recorded.
It
We're
is.
fine.
Yeah, okay. Any other old business under sanitary sewer? Oh, stormwater, I'm sorry. Take that as a no. New business under sanitary sewer, city flow monitoring project.
That project is ongoing. I received an email over the weekend from one of the city staff people sort of responding to our position on the metering, indicating that, they've removed some meters that they felt were giving them consistent readings with permanent meters, but felt that some of the permanent meters were giving questionable meter readings, and so they wanted to leave the temporary ones in for some additional time. So is that a fair way to express that, Matt?
It is.
So I should say, I haven't had a chance to really thoroughly review. It's a rather lengthy email. Thoroughly review it and come up with a response. But as Charlie said, we have partners meeting on Tuesday of next week, and I imagine we'll have opportunity for a lot of discussion at that time.
The in the email here, as Hutch mentioned, we don't have to dissect it, but they're saying that some of the authorities meters are measuring 25%, if not more. Just want to get the numbers here right. They're indicating that the Bridgeport meter is measuring about 30% lower than their temporary meter that they installed. Now, question is, what's the validity of the temporary meter as well? But they're indicating in there that they want information on the history of the permanently installed meters and information, and they put info in here or request about, because they're used for billing purposes, and they feel like they want to discuss that after.
At the end of the day, isn't it incredibly hard to meter?
It is. I mean, you could have two meters back to back and you're going to get
Different readings.
different numbers. If you're
Right.
within
Is
10%
there
of
a
each other,
percentage that you allow for 5%, 10%, 15%?
I would say if you're within that 5% range between meters, that's
Yeah, it's pretty good.
pretty good.
Yeah.
So we need to look at the data, look at the request and discuss that further.
Okay, Greenfield North Sewer permit.
So this was the development project that High is pursuing. And we discussed last month, they've submitted their water quality management permit application. As discussed, that needs to be in the name of the authority. You had last month indicated you would sign that. We're reviewing it with staff, but we do have the permit form itself here for your signature here today. And if there were any minor comments on the permit, that we could get those addressed, but it wouldn't impact the signature page.
Yeah, it's gonna come down to DEP with their review of it. But it shouldn't impact with signing this tonight. Then I can get it and they can get their submittals going.
Right.
When's that project supposed to be finished?
I think their expectation is that the first building would be under construction next year.
We need to take a vote.
We approve of that.
Yeah, didn't we approve?
Yeah, you
that?
did approve it. I was just letting you know that we
Just a matter of signing it then?
yeah, just get signature.
Okay.
That way they.
Okay. Capital projects.
And, excuse me, including the engineer's report here. So then, about 3 pages back, there is a estimated cost for the authority's capital projects that you requested at last month's meeting. And we've taken a look and developed these conceptual project cost estimates here for these projects. This includes the pump station, the Oaks Pump Station Drainage Basin I&I investigation and capital repairs. Estimated cost there is about $576,000. Oaks Pump Station 2 elimination, $382,000. Oaks Pump Station 1 elimination, $1,184,000. The Buckwater Road to SR30 asbestos cement sewer main CIPP lining, $452,000. Hobson Road asbestos cement sewer main CIPP lining, $147,000. Willow Road sewer replacement stream protection, $971,000. And Stauffer Run pump station lining, wet well lining on the lower portion of that, $50,000. So the last one was something that came about as a result when they had the wet well down for construction purposes. They noticed on the lower level, there was deterioration that was happening. So that last project is, doesn't coat the entire wet well, but it's one that just on the lower portion where corrosion is happening. And
So all
that's
these
actually something to be
costs are
done by
updated
coast.
to the best of your ability.
I'm
is
sorry?
what- All these costs are updated now.
Correct.
to the best of Your ability.
Yes. So subsequent pages are how these projects are put together or how we develop the estimates. They all include 20% contingencies at this point, and at this stage, just a 25% factor for engineering, legal, and administrative costs associated with the projects. The Stafford Run Pump Station wet well lining is something that actually could be performed by co-stars. Not something. So that's how we have that currently priced out. But then after that, I updated the expenditure forecast list, and that's a front and back 2-page document here that factors in. Takes a look primarily at city projects and the authority projects that are on the books currently. Doesn't have in here the capital improvements projects from the previous sheets. So those costs would need to be factored into this as well. But if you look at the total $3.76 million in authority capital projects, and you add that on to the construction fund, that's assuming all the other city projects here. You're at,
I don't see
Yeah,
the
eight.
Oaks pump station #1 breakdown.
oh, I'm sorry, I didn't include that one because we had that previously submitted from a few months ago back in May or June when we did that estimate. I can pass it along, Rick, if you want a copy of that. again.
I just, gonna, if we haven't already, I can dig back through and find it. So I guess that brings us here to Scott Shear.
And the one thing I guess I'll say, and actually I guess is with Scott, on the Oaks Pump Station 1, Oaks Pump Station 2 elimination. I sat in a webinar 2 days ago with PP&L. They have their incentive program for energy savings. And they indicated there may be some incentive money here or that they can help out with the Oaks 1 and Oaks 2 pump station elimination because we're saving energy by removing those pump stations. So I've sent an email to them, request a meeting to further explore that and see, what they can contribute. So we're also going to talk to them with the Stop or Run project because if we put in LED lights, things along those lines, there's a prescriptive formula there that they'll throw in some money per light fixture changed out, things along those lines when the project's complete. So we'll see what happens.
There's also a couple of grant programs that are,
Correct.
well, that's later. Okay.
Well, you can go over it now.
I mean, it could be grant opportunities to get some funding for some or all of these projects.
Correct. So Pennsylvania's released through the Commonwealth Financing Authority or CFA, they have 2 funding programs that they're currently accepting applications for. The first is the PA Small Water Sewer Program, which is geared towards projects between $30,000 and $500,000. And the second is the H2O PA program, which covers the projects from $500,000 to $20 million. So as we discussed previously, these projects are intended, there's an application process here. However, the getting legislative support behind these project applications is very critical because the ultimate selection authority is the CFA board, which consists of 4 members from the state house and senate.
And you'd have different grants for different projects. You're lumping everything together, or
Typically, what I've seen is there is a project that you try to go after. So if it fits in the bucket for the PA small water sewer, you go after that or the large one. And after that, talk to our financial services folks to see if anyone's had success grouping projects together. Unless it's considered like an overall repair project, something along those lines. I have to see how that is factored in.
I suspect that would muddy the water in that process, but
I think talking internally, I think, perhaps if you lump the Oaks pump station elimination as one project, that might be one there. But if there's something else that the board sees as beneficial to go after, and something else we can consider. If you would like to go after that, HRG's fee for preparing an application for the H2OPA program is $4,500 per application, and the cost for the small water sewer is $4,200.
and you're saying you don't know yet if you'd lump them into one application.
I think the Oaks, we could, I mean, that could be a project, Oaks pump station elimination. I think that could be one, but lumping the other projects together, that may be a little more challenging.
How much financial need paperwork is there in the application? How much, per capita average income and that kind of stuff?
yeah, that's definitely the case in the other funding program, like
Penvest.
Penvest or something
Yeah.
like that. But with this, I don't know that there's a whole lot of economic.
And what department's divvying it out?
It's Commonwealth Financing Authority.
They're controlled by,
Well, as Matt said, there's 2 from the Senate, 2 from the House, and the governor's office is the 5th, I think. So it does involve, getting the local legislators to get behind these projects
Yeah.
and try to push them along.
So my understanding is this round of funding that they have is from their funds that the state received from ARPA. Which is what they're using some of that money here for this program.
those are worthwhile.
Yeah, sounds like.
If we get the grants.
Yeah, it's just,
But it's
I just don't have a good, but it relates back to a lot of that Penvest stuff, which you go through all those hoops and you don't qualify anyhow. It's like, why did you do this?
Right, well,
Well, this is a political thing where you just gotta buy a politician, that, or whatever.
this is recorded, Fred.
Well, it sounds like it's a politically,
It definitely involves the political higher ups
Yeah.
at the state level. So some, lobbying effort by our own local legislators would be needed, I would think.
okay.
So, we'd have to go to them and educate
Yeah,
them
And
about,
if it's that,
what we're
and
trying
it's
to do.
not tied to per capita income, that's what's always killed us before.
right, and that's where the Penvest and some of the other programs really exclude Lancaster County.
Yeah.
Okay,
Something to think about. When are the deadlines for those?
December 21st.
December of this year.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think we ought to go ahead and
At least do the Oaks. That's the 3 projects in the Oaks.
You want to vote on that? You know, we're getting approval to do that or?
I mean, if you want to authorize HRG to prepare grant application for those three lumped together.
If you think doing the Oaks together, but you think the other ones, it's really not worth it. Willow Road sewer replacements, that's almost $1 million.
Yeah, in terms of those award decisions, you know, it could be, you know, a year after the application goes in before you would know whether you would get a grant, really. Yeah.
Is it a matching grant or is it?
The way CFA, some of them have been like a 70-30. I'd have to take a look at the project specifics. So they may give
70-30.
they covered 70% of the cost and a 30% match.
Some of them are 80-20.
I have to go back and look at the specifics.
But you can't start the project until
Correct, yeah.
you hear
If-
from that.
Right, you know, if you have the money to start the project, then you don't need the money.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd have to wait.
Do you start the engineering?
There are some programs where you could do that. But a lot of the ones that I've run into, they don't want you to do anything until
So you
a
get-
decision's been made to award. So that's another factor to consider.
I can ask Adrian, our financial services group, about potential of combining any of these or see how that may happen.
What the match requirements are. if
What the
there
match
are any.
requirements are and, can any be combined or if you just looked at like the Oaks drainage basin and said, because of the overflows there, you want to not only look at elimination, but also I&I improvements. I mean, maybe that can be a project that kind of is everything's tied together. And that would be the first three on the list.
And we're not in danger of the Oaks pump stations aging out or anything in a 2-3 year process.
I don't think so. I mean, we have issues. We've got stuff we'd fix and change out, but I don't see it.
Because it could be a.
I better
2-3
not
year
say
process.
catastrophic. I don't see that, but
The
who
biggest,
knows?
there have been some sewer overflows at Oaks Pump Station 1.
And like the Willow Road thing, you got exposed sewer lines, so you don't want to wait 3 years for that. Wet well, you don't want to waste, no, so.
You're gonna look into that with,
So if the board would like, I mean, you can tentatively authorize something, and if there's a decision that we want to proceed with a project, we can define what that project is for whichever bucket it fits in. I mean, looking at these here, it looks like most of them are going to fit in the,
Well, it sounds like the
The
Oaks
larger
pump
project.
station would be that would be a project worth looking into, spend
Right.
$4,500 to apply. We don't have to get it started. To get something, anything out of it.
Right.
Could be worthwhile.
sure.
So that's how I feel about it.
yeah, as long as it covers that
Right.
$4,500.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah, I can talk to Adrian and come back with some answers and
I think that'd be best. Yeah.
put an application together for that program.
Okay, now, Mr. Shearer, sorry to cut you off there so quickly.
Good news is, you can't get the grant, you can only borrow. Favorite pattern.
Thanks, sir.
Thanks, Scott.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
If you could just use the mic
Oh, okay.
since it's being recorded.
And so that Brent can hear.
All right, so. Because we've been, in touch with the administration. And, all will come back here this fall, to look at the cost of these scenarios. Apartments, money, and a couple different versions, 4 million, 5 million, 6 million. So kind of before we get into the schedule, I don't think there's a whole lot of stuff in part of the market. And everything out there for the crazy world right now. Definitely been a pretty sharp increase in the fees, increase in short. Whether it's short-term rate, whether it's long-term rate, everything is pretty dramatic. So as far as comparison, if you do go forward with borrowing now, interest rates are definitely a little different than what you did in your previous one. No doubt they're higher. But based on kind of what I was hearing, the decision, if you do want to put forward borrowing, you want to do a plan similar to what we've done in the past, where first you go out and like a line of credit, bank, draw down facility that gives you 12 months, whatever it is, to borrow the funds, to take down the funds. And then that would probably be a very which sometimes advantageous in this higher rates of and then 2 years later, 3 years later, finally, whatever it is, we decide you know, refinance it to a fixed rate loan or convert it to a fixed rate loan with that bank. So, yeah, but we talking about maybe do a little track, both bond issue, bank loan, but get a more idea. You're applying for grants, you might get grants a year or two from now. Maybe it is a better option to do what we've done in the past. Go out and do a bank loan first, and then see what kind of bill we get, and then there's the interest rate figure. As far as section number 3, there are no refinancing options right now that the already has. Township does have one opportunity, but it's the rate is higher. So, standpoint, you kind of get right into well, get so the bottom part of page 2 is one close the picture back early 2001. 10 years. So your rate would not be right on the index. Every issue of trade is higher than this index or half or this is just that index. You can see where we are on the right hand side. In fact, March of the spring 2020, the left hand side, that's why the pandemic issue kind of went haywire. And that rate were great for a long period of time. Basically January this year, we saw the rates tick up, and now see where we are on the right side. Historically, because this bottom chart kind of looks bad, but when you compare it to longer history, that's kind of the middle. We're still around, we're still better than historical. So not at the old time we were, but historically we're kind of at average. So not a bad. On page 4, we obviously take this into account for the structure and any new debt. You get those 3 issues that are all done. And just to recap, the rates on those 2019, that was a 179, pretty low rate. 2019 A, that was 193, and 2019 B, 21. So really rates are just pretty impressive. So they call 5 what we look here. Both about what here each defense was structure. New debt. And then as far as the option for you on page 5. So the blue is 2 different scenarios for $4 million. The green is $5 million, and the orange is $6 million. blue, 4 million, we can do, level debt service, level for interest, that's in column 9. So the increase in debt service is about $75,000 per year. You get a wrap structure, which is column 11. That would be basically where we prefer principal, so people who are existing debt basically paid off before maturity. So column 11, more or less interest only for about 5-6 years, and it's bigger payments. And column 11, 2021. So the benefit to the wrap structure is you won't have to increase rates as much to cover the debt service, because you're not principal. So the con, compared to the total column 11 versus the total column 9, you're going to pay more interest expense. Wrap structure to the tune of $300,000 because you're deferring. There's no right or wrong answer to those. And then same kind of applies to the $500, $600. The wrap structure, again, for principal payback has a less of a budget impact on increases, but more total expense. We kind of just give you a general idea of the 5 situation. We're running these schedules, they're about 4% interest rate. It'll be obviously higher. What were the prices? Matt, when you look at the project, total records,
With everything that's on the books that the city's projecting on their current cost estimate, plus those numbers that are added up, it's about $8 million.
Yeah, and what were you thinking? For the grant?
It's, sorry, we were, actually, it's about 8.5 million, total. And the projects we were trying to go after grants for would be, if it's the pump station elimination, you're looking at potentially like 1.6 there. Or if you were able to get in the Oaks Pump Station drainage basin as part of that as well, then you're maybe around 2.2 in total, but not sure what the percentage would be, if that's an 80-20 split or a 70-30. So
that's the area. So that's 4,560. Probably right range.
Mhm. Yeah, and so in the correct, so that taking these projects here plus the projects we have from the city from their July of 2022 forecast there of their capital projects list, they provide dates. So that those current dates go out to September of 2024.
projects. So is that what you're kind of looking to see as far as the budget impacts with the environment? You have an idea of the cost?
Yeah, but we as a authority here don't really know what the townships, where we stand, by putting this kind of, pressure on them, with, the interest only versus, I hate to always kick the can down the road. At least that's the way I've always looked at things like that. But there again, if it makes it easier now, but what happens 5 years from now and what other projects are out there, whatever things,
The one kind of positive note of all, sometimes we'll talk to the client, whether it's a sewer, water, or whatever, talking the difference between a level structure and top structure. There we're talking 15 years, 20 years, 25 years. where you confirm The principal payback for the rest here is much more powerful. It's only 6, 7 years. Still costs them, no question about it, but it's not necessarily as onerous a lot of other things that the see out. So that's why we kind of put it in here. We remember that we have issues that in terms of time. So these are kind of reasonable routes to consider, but at the day, it's your call whether we want to.
But to flatten the wrap, isn't that really township decision, whether they want to increase rates or take the flat rate?
Well, yeah, I mean, certainly we can get supervisors' input on what they feel would be better from a sewer fund budget perspective.
Yeah.
As Scott said, on an annual basis, it's a lot easier to manage the wrap structure than the flat structure, but we can
That's what I'm
certainly
saying,
ask.
between the level and the wrap, I'm not sure that's our call. That's really
Well, that was my
the
point.
supervisor's call.
Look at it.
We just gotta figure out how much money we need.
Scott, with the something with the wrap schedule, obviously. Don't know where rates are gonna be, but if rates would come down again, and is refinancing down the road, does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, so we would want this bank to be prepaid one at a time. So that 2 years from now, 3 years from now, whatever it is. we could refinance that. If we go back to page 4, just to give you an idea of the existing debt that's outstanding. For the new money that the charge of 19, that's the series B. 21 million, that was the wrap structure. So you look at top 4, you see for little payments at the beginning of the bigger payments. Then for column 2, that looks like that was probably, so that was the refinance of 2014 funds. So that was probably wrap 2, just given the way that the payment structure looks like. But then on the flip side, column 3, 19 days, that would be 16 and 18 debt. Now that looks a little bit more like those original money more on the level. So again, if they're right or wrong, it's kind of the market, and what kind of user rates. So I think it's hard to kind of differ things past that level.
So I think we got to decide basically how much money we want to borrow, and then it goes back to the township to see how they want to set up the repayment plan. I mean,
And I do think a bank and a draw makes a lot more sense, because we have no idea when this is going out. This just gives the security of having the finance lined up. It might not be drawn on for,
I think it worked out better.
yeah,
what are the normal limits of the draw time on that?
It depends on the value of the market. Probably, I'm not sure we're gonna be able to get much for that year. We sure try. We could, in our opinion, say 18 months, 2 years with a strong period. Or they can say no. Usually if they don't like our bid specs, they'll just sort of say, well, here's what our proposal is. Only assuming you have 6 month call. But we can put it in our.
I mean, by the time the authority would get through the process, we're looking at, 4 months from now, roughly. Until the draw
2023.
period would start.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would ask for the 2 years. I would. Of course, the longer the better, but they're,
is there ever a possibility that, once we start the draw, or does the whole draw have to be done within that 1 year or 2 years?
Well, overall, what I think that's happened before with the authority that you kind of got. Part of the stuff. If you don't spend it all right, then the all pretty always fall down, so it's being balanced, and that's, and right now, it's kind of interesting. That if you do draw all down, for someone, you can actually earn a decent investment rate. Right now, you're from a plated, 1 year CD, plated now is probably about 4%, that's what we're CD, but even if you do
1 year CD with Pliget is paying 4%. Seriously?
Liquid money, which is basically.
Yeah.
the Fed doing? There's some, we're seeing such a huge discrepancy in bank rates. You're probably seeing it too, some are operating investment rates still less than 1%. And it's like it's the world are operating 3 or 4%.
Wow. Why?
Why?
They're serving local government. That's their purpose.
They're doing it for you.
Ah. Okay, I'm slow, but I get it.
So I guess my point was that if you get to the end of the draw period,
Is this historically normal? That the Pligett's paying more than market? Okay. So you're saying even if you hit the draw period, you just pull the draw. It might cost you a few basis points, but you're not going to be far apart.
Right.
Looking at the estimated expenditure forecast, yeah. I took a look at October here and, with what city projects are. You have to take into account there's, over $1 million remaining on the Stop Run project, which the majority of that's probably not going to hit until spring of next year
Mhm.
because of the delay in construction. You may not need this money until the springtime. I mean, currently it shows it looking around December of this year, but we haven't seen some of these city projects come through yet. And that also factors in that all the money in Stop Run was going to be spent.
Right.
So you're probably looking more so like a spring of next year. Rough timeline. When you may actually start needing to draw unless the city advances their schedule. But
That's
yeah.
Unlikely.
very unlikely. Very. So,
Maybe go forward towards November, which is December. And then when you want to close the pipe, you'll schedule it one. So you close the transaction. Get it closed.
Mhm.
So we're not really far
so your
off.
estimate numbers here, you're running at 4%. What would they have been a month ago before? How much have they jumped? How much are they jumping each?
Well, last year this time would have been 1.5%.
I know.
But now, so the longer term rate's gonna have had a lot of Fed increases baked into it already. So we're not seeing like 1-for-1 jump of Fed increases with base point.
Right.
A lot of it's already been baked into it. So even if I would have been here months ago, the rates would have been pretty close to the same. Now, in the spring, it probably would have been closer to low threes. So
Yeah.
it's crept up over the year. Where it's going here, no one, obviously, no one knows, but it depends on the price of the excuse rate. But if you get back to that chart, gauge,
Your table one, I,
yeah,
in my opinion, I disagree with.
why not?
It's Bloomberg, but I disagree with. It's going to go up.
Well, most times they're wrong.
I,
But I'm just showing you what the information.
yeah, no, I know. It's,
If that's wrong. Yeah.
well, you got 2 meetings before the end of the Q4 and they're only showing 85 basis points. They're going to go more than 85 basis points in two meetings. In my opinion. Huh?
I guess you're not negative. When something you got. Yeah,
No, it's because I'm an old guy and I lived through an inflationary period back in the 80s. So I get it.
a lot of those good Wall Street funds.
A lot of these smart Wall Street people, they have no freaking idea what's coming. In my opinion. You're not old enough to be with me.
There was inflation.
You can get
in the
it. You
70s.
understand
Yeah,
it.
even in the seventies, there was some pretty serious inflation going on. So
Yeah, I
we,
mean,
we remember that
I
stuff.
lived through those 70 inflation. I lived through that. Yeah. So,
That also goes back to the fact that, why for beer way before we entered it. So that way you can see the difference. It's really gonna be higher.
and that's what I wonder what you would actually do by doing an actual bond and getting a fixed rate bonds in this time in the market.
That's the estimates that we have on this page, page 5. Those are basically based on bond rates. So what we did, if you look at that footnote down the bottom,
Yeah,
so assume current interest rates, per way MFP index, before plus about 35 basis points plus. Right? So this is based, these are pretty much based off of bond rates.
Yeah.
A bank loan. Yeah, you get pretty aggressive banks in the Lancaster area. We can probably do better than that, in our fee process.
at a fixed rate?
It's fine.
Really?
I mean, you got a good credit rating, right?
Yeah.
Not already good credit rating. This is also relatively short transaction in big scheme of things. So we're talking 9 to 10 years, banks have more appetite for that. So we're seeing a lot of bank loans right now. Or low 4% rate, usually they're longer. So I'd be more optimistic that we be in the high 40s potentially with the bank. Obviously, the bank would do less policy,
Mhm.
less administration for right with that process. That's why I think you could just try the bank loan first.
I have no problem with looking at both ways. I'm just saying,
I think you might be better with bank loans.
Okay.
And also, especially in the timing standpoint, we would get say approvals. Like, we get a proposal back in December versus January. It's kind of see where the banks are sometimes. I mean, it's very, sometimes you get better proposals at the end of the year, get better proposals in years, capital that banks have, but yeah, today's world is hard, yes. But if I bet today, I see you get better results.
how much?
I don't know. I think we almost got to think about the $6 million range. I mean, that's again, assuming that all the projects pan out.
Doesn't cover all the projects, we're not
Right.
pan out.
I know.
Historically, 70% of them even get close to these dates.
Right.
So, no, you don't need all
No,
of it. But because I think even your 24 numbers are questionable, whether you really even need that. But if you take the current, what's taking care of all the 23 needs plus this, plus the 3.7. The 23 needs through the city. Well, there really isn't that much 24 stuff on here.
right. So it's still. Isn't that this,
It was almost all 23 or something.
but isn't that this year?
So you're a little over $600,000.
Yeah, 4 million, 4,099,000, 4.1, 4.1, 3.7. You're right.
Yeah.
That's what you did,
Through 23, yeah.
Yeah. And that 323, they're not going to draw that. We're not gonna need that until 24.
Right. But if it all takes place, we were talking, I mean, if we could at least get a year. You know, it takes you into almost spring of 24.
Like, some of the big ones on here, like the North Secondary Clarifier. How realistic is that?
As far as the timing,
Yeah.
June of 23.
It's something that they've been working on. They ran into some issues here, which I think is why they continued to push this back with contaminated soil issues, but seems like they are working through that process from what they reported at the partners meetings. So, 9 months from now, maybe it's not June of 2023, maybe it's October or December, but I'd still say it's probably a 2023 project.
I think you, 4, 3,
Hmm?
6. 6 would probably be a more realistic number, depending on what the draw is. You're still gonna have to draw with arbitrage it for a year before you use it.
Right.
What we would do, if you buy a little bit less, we can township to borrow, I think. Even next year, would be considered small issues, so would more likely be exempt from try to rebate, which it might be beneficial for us to draft our queue that the community draw down. So, or some banks don't like that, some banks don't like the other alternative, but it needs to see what they propose, because then you could do the alternative where you have your own internal. Still take all the proceeds and settle and invest it. Hopefully, you kind of at the break even, you're investing all thing on it. And it's not gonna cost you. So I think we'd like to grant our fee. Get both ways. But that won't be 5 or less. It will be 5.
But even with these numbers, we're not gonna spend 5 million.
Right. I know.
At the rate of these projects to go, it's you're not gonna spend 5 million in 2 years. Barely. To take the minimum.
I don't think we need to know that. I just kind of think of the process, probably what we do. We need to check with the township for payback structure. Do that kind of in October, November. Have the authorization to proceed. To basically say, go send out the RFP.
Yeah.
And then we'll come back in December, say the results. And then like the results, then the authority of the township in January to prove it. So I guess all I'm saying, you can decide now today, and then be probably more so next month. To drill down.
So you just need direction to take some of the local banks.
Well, I don't even need any direction today. I think that would be next month. This would today more just.
Well, I think you gotta find out from the township first, whether they want flat rate or wrap rate.
Yeah, before we put out the RFP.
But we could still say we're gonna be in that $5 or $6 million range, and if there's benefits of staying under 5 million, because we really don't have Because even our 3.7 million, I mean, till you get through engineering and all that stuff, whether you're doing Pine Drive or whether you're doing the Oaks plants, I mean, geez, that could be,
And that,
that's gonna be like 24 till that starts.
that 3.7, that doesn't factor in any sewer extension projects.
Any sewer.
Extension projects, these are just all repairs. So if you're looking for any projects like, you want a sewer
I
Pine
thought we
Drive.
kind of ruled that out. Didn't we?
Yeah, I mean, the discussion last month was pretty
Kinda
much,
ruled that out, 'cause
Okay.
there's no need.
You mentioned
demand.
Pine Drive, which is why I brought it up.
Well, the Pine Drive thing is because of the
Oh.
exposed sewer. line.
Okay, yep.
That one's different.
Gotcha. Okay.
Is that an extension or is that,
No, that's,
that's just,
that's repairs,
it's
replacement.
in an exposed line. I mean, now you
Correct.
better get to it.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I'll double check with the bond council about their stuff. Yeah, today, I don't think we looked for any decisions today. I think today we're more of here's information for that next month with that one. Say, yep, cool. Put out an RFP for X amount.
Next month, yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, bring back your Bloomberg report then. Hey?
are there other resources you'd rather look at than Bloomberg?
No, because they're all the same. They're all way undershooting it. They all get together at the bar at the end of the day and they all talk the same language and that's where it comes from. But they're all undershooting it.
Do we know which bar they go to?
Good talk to them.
In my opinion, that's just my opinion.
Well, if you want to see any additional information for the next meeting, I'm happy to run more there, but Sonia, if you can kind of speak about it.
Mhm.
Well, I'll sort of back to you. Rather than-
I do think you're smart to go into the shorter term as possible, through this period of time. The reason to go way long was a year ago, not today anymore.
Agreed.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
It's good.
Any other new business under sewer? Thanks. Stormwater. Update on MS.
Yes, so I'm happy to report that we submitted the annual report to DEP on time. We also submitted the amended PRP to DEP for review and comment, and that's the pollution reduction plan. That included all of the information for the revolving water fund, which will be an expenditure, hopefully this year yet, of about $750,000, as you all agreed to, and the township board supervisors agreed to. And then we will have PRP projects at numerous places throughout the township moving forward over this year and next year in the amount of about $500,000. We are finishing the BMP inspections for section 5 of the township. So we're on schedule with our stormwater management program that we implemented a number of years ago at the start of this permit process. And we got notice from DEP that the NPDES permit for MS4 municipalities is extended until 2025. However, we still have to meet all of the PRP reductions by 2023. It's just that PADEP doesn't know what the next set of MS4 permit requirements will be for municipalities, and so they need some more time. But we still have to do our job on time.
Who says that?
How's that work?
PADEP.
DAB says it, although they extended it 2 years.
That's correct.
Everything we're shooting for at the end of 2023 is now 2025.
But all of the reductions have to still be completed by 2023.
What did they?
But how do you know what your reductions are?
We don't know what our reductions will be for the next permit.
You know, we have to meet our goal for 2023, but we have no idea what's coming up in 2024 and 2025. We just have to keep moving forward with projects. We don't know if it's going to be a reduction of nitrogen, phosphorus, or
Are they extending it because so many people are behind, or are they extending it because?
Quite honestly, we didn't get a direct answer when they put out the new date. What we did get is the fact that they're putting together a work group to determine what the new requirements will be. So we immediately signed up to be part of that work group.
Is there a lot of municipalities behind in this process? You know,
I don't see anybody else in Lancaster, other town, other than the city, the borough of Lidditz. I know they have fees. Other than that, I don't think anybody else has fees. Do they?
Oh, yeah.
They do.
Yeah, there are others. West Hempfield,
Upper Lake Cox.
Upper Lake Cox implementing.
I was talking actually now, other townships that have the stormwater fee.
West Hempfield
Hempfield.
definitely does. And the city, of course.
Yeah.
The only thing that the extension did was it means that municipalities that have MS4 permits didn't have to apply for a new MS4 permit, since the current one was supposed to end in 23. So we normally would have probably last month had to issue a notice of intent to apply for a new permit and get into that process. So now DEP doesn't have to work on all those applications for another 2 years. But they said we still have to meet all of the permit requirements as they were. And the new requirements are going to be more. I mean, there's, we don't know what the exact standards are going to be, but it's going to be more than we've had to do up to this
isn't there
point.
just a lot of municipalities out there struggling even to, I mean, so you're saying the permits are gonna be more stringent?
Yeah.
But yet there's municipalities struggling just to get their permits done and get.
I mean, yeah,
There's still a lot of educational work too that needs to be done. There's some municipalities that don't have a permit yet because they don't have an urban
So
area.
many of these people are behind that. When is reality going to set in?
yeah. I mean, they're going to have to open up at the ag areas more to projects, and there's going to have to be some more significant changes in order to actually get the results they're looking for.
The thing I'm concerned about is you're doing your job so well that you do all this work and nobody else is.
Right.
And you're doing your job so well, you're just spending money that nobody else is spending.
That's exactly
And
right.
you're doing your job so well that you're ahead of all this. Which I guess is a good place to be, but it's like, yeah, but why are you spending all this money when it's like everybody else is getting away without doing it?
Well, I mean, getting away, the permit cycle, as the permits are issued, will come on.
They're getting away with it. They're not spending money. I'm not saying I'm not saying you're not right. I'm just saying reality is a lot of municipalities getting away without spending any dollars.
We
Right,
thought-
right now is the key term. I mean,
Right
when,
now.
when the end of
Right now,
Will
this,
come.
this year,
and DEP says, what did you
the
do?
22-year cycle, the 23-year cycle,
I know
they're not budgeting anything for it.
the supervisors originally, they made the decision to implement the stormwater fee, and then we just agreed to take it. But I thought that, we didn't come out against it because there's going to be fines if we didn't do it, but if other people aren't doing it, they're not getting fined, to Fred's point.
It's like, okay, who's the biggest fool?
Yeah.
Well, again, that time
Okay,
hasn't
well,
come yet. That time will come in 23 and 24 when DEP sees, okay, you had a
Yeah.
permit, you were supposed to do this stuff, you didn't do
It's
it.
a shame that
Then-
you're following all the rules, you're doing everything you're supposed to, and then you look around, it's like, you kind of look, say foolish, but it's like,
Well,
That's not right.
we'll
still
see.
gotta
I mean,
play by the
the
rules.
time hasn't arrived yet to when that bill's gonna come due for those other locations.
I think similar thing happens with wastewater treatment plants. So a wastewater treatment plant gets an MPDS permit, it's only good for 5 years. Sometimes DEP, and that permit has certain treatment levels you need to hit. Sometimes DEP says, again, understaffing or other issues, they extend that permit that you already have, however many additional years, continuing those same level of treatment you need to hit until they issue a new permit, at which time they'll possibly implement higher treatment standards you need to
Yeah.
achieve. So it sounds like something similar here. They're just saying, hey, here's when you had to achieve them. Same criteria are still in place. You just need to hit them when your original permit was due, was good until.
It just doesn't seem fair.
I think at the end of the day, the people that aren't doing anything are gonna get hammered on. That's my thought.
By who? By what?
EPA, DEP.
And the EPA.
And that's what we saw in the beginning, right? When this permit first came out, we saw inspections being done by DEP and EPA. In fact, we were a DEP inspection site. And we saw EPA come in and inspect other municipalities and hand down 6-digit fines. And they were in EPA jail down in Philadelphia trying to haggle those fines down to lower amounts. And so I think with the expiration of this permit, we're going to see those inspections pick up again. And we're going to see those municipalities that aren't doing anything and have a permit in jail, EPA jail.
Yeah. Mhm. It just seems frustrating. Yeah, you're doing the job. You're doing what you're supposed to do. You're doing everything you're supposed to do. And people get away without doing it. It's just not right. But
We have a voice too. So if we see that others are getting away with it at the end of the
Mhm.
permit cycle, we can speak up.
What would you think that would fall much lower in the rates or what? Speaking up, would you say that due to?
We'd identify those that we think haven't done what they were supposed to do.
As far as other townships?
Right, other permit holders, yeah.
That's all I have. And there's no public comment.
Motion to adjourn?
so moved. Yep. Second.